The sun is shining a little brighter in the Bluegrass State after Louisville and Kentucky go to the Sunshine State and pick up some huge wins. Welcome back in, everybody. Mark Ennis and Andy Sweeney from ESPN Louisville helping me break these victories down. Guys, let's start with the Wildcats. They did play last night and got a huge 26-16 victory over Florida. Mark Stoops, now the winningest coach in Kentucky football history. And guys, I think this looked like a vintage Mark Stoops Kentucky win. The defense comes up with big plays. The offense does basically what it needs to do.
This was kind of a statement. Roman Harper said they were soft from week one, and Kentucky went in there. They ran the ball in the second half. They dominated the line of scrimmage in the second half, and that's how they had to win that game. And I think, listen, I mean, they're growing that wide receiver core. I thought the tight ends did a little bit more. Kentucky fans have to be happy after last night. Gut check, go on the road, win the game. You were a dog on the road and win the game, and now you're staring at being 4-0 going into Ole Miss.
I think the most remarkable thing about it is there's nothing remarkable about it. Like they didn't do anything clever.
Well said.
They didn't do anything out of the ordinary. There were no surprises. And I think you could honestly say that they didn't really play like great, and they dominated from like the middle of the second quarter forward. And I said this last week, and I really do think it's still true. The most incredible thing I think about what Stoops has done at UK is that like they're just winning the way the other teams at the top of the SEC do. There's nothing fluky. There's nothing quirky about it. There's nothing that is can't be replicated. It's nothing. It's legit, all of it, and they've never had this before.
Two guys stood out for me. Dane Key, I think, is going to be a star for this team. I mean, as a freshman, the catch he made to get them on the board with that first touchdown, a lot of freshmen don't make that play, period. And Jordan Wright's presence was felt. He makes the one-handed interception to kind of shift that game. And then Mark Stoops talked about that juice that was missing from the first game. He brought it on defense. That UK defense is looking serious to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Wright's back. They really needed that. Listen, Kentucky sets themselves up. You know, what's crazy about this game last night is they had to win. If they lose that game, it takes so much of the momentum from the season when you then have 2 weeks against much inferior opponents, probably still without C-Rod, and then you're back on the road with Ole Miss. This gives a jolt to their program energy-wise to get them through the next couple weeks, get healthy where they need to, get C-Rod back, right? Get that offensive line with having a little bit more cohesion and get ready for the real guts of the SEC now.
I think that offensive line got better as the game went on. First half, Will Levis, he can't take that many hits. And one of them got reviewed for targeting and it was overturned. That was a free shot from a free rusher. That can't happen. But I think they did get better as the game went on.
Well, they absolutely did. I mean, if you win, I tweeted this out, this is taking away sacks because in college football, you know, you have Will Levis scrambling and you have the sacks there. I mean, the first half, 14 yards. I mean, they could not run the football. It got better, more yards even in the fourth quarter than the third quarter. That's something that I did not expect. Not them going down and winning the game. That's not crazy. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Florida may be a little bit, I don't want to say overrated because that negates Kentucky, but probably not the 12th best team in the country.
Somewhere between
top
here and
25
there.
team, maybe not the 12th best team. But no,
Are you saying Anthony Richardson is not Cam Newton?
No. I mean, that offensive line went from Will Levis being smacked and could not run the football to controlling that line as we went in that game.
To go back to kind of the first question about just sort of global Stoops, like the program's like fully grown. And I think that one of the things that they've accomplished is when they get in games like this, a little sloppy, very physical, close, tense, they expect to win, and they win more than their fair share of those.
Absolutely. It's a testament to what he's done that they can go down and beat Florida for a third time under him. Remember, they had not beaten Florida since 1986 before he came in, but that defense humbled Anthony Richardson. And switching gears, Louisville's defense humbled what is regarded as a high-paced offense with UCF. Guys, I don't know if we have seen a better Louisville defensive performance than stopping UCF on 10 straight possessions to win 20-14. What changed on that side of the ball from week 1 to week 2? Because they look so much more aggressive.
Well, it's not even week 1 to week 2. It's week 1 midway through or 5 minutes into the second quarter of week 2. You know, it was the Syracuse game plan for the first quarter, and Syracuse scores twice. And at 11:30, that's 14-7. The next drive, Tyne Evans fumbles, and you're like, man, they're about to go in a tank. Let's start the post-game show now, that sort of thing. And instead, from then forward, I think they made the conscious decision. There's probably one way out of this. And we either decide that we're going to go all out and attack the passer and stop the run and just see if he can beat us throwing. And it turns out he cannot. And they didn't bring, I think, fewer than 5 to 6 on every single play for the rest of the game. And one would hope this is the beginning of what this is supposed to look like. This is what they said it would look like. We like our secondary guys. It'll let us take more chances up front. They did it.
They won the opposite way that you ever would have expected them to win. And listen, big picture, what does this win mean? We shall see. Last year did not save Scott Satterfield by having a magical moment, a magical win against Central Florida. But Mark mentions it. I mean, the lead up to the game, Lole's out for the season.
Yeah.
You find that out right before the game, okay? Those rumors were out there. It's already kind of like a bad feeling. You know, fans are kind of bracing themselves for the storm here on what's going to happen. You get into the second quarter, and it's done. It looks done, and they flip that. And Scott Satterfield keeps things alive now for another week. If you can beat Florida State, you have inferior opponents after that with South Florida. I mean, Boston College hasn't been good, I mean, at all. I mean, that was a game you thought might be different before the season. Louisville can take care of business here. There's that goodwill again going into Friday night, which is just going to be a huge game. I mean, just a massive game.
It's funny how the schedule sets up for them. They have 3 weeks in a row to start the season where you have a really, really mobile quarterback who's kind of iffy as a thrower. Like, it's the same model. They failed week 1.
Yep.
They nailed week 2. And I think Jordan Travis is kind of a happy medium between Plumlee and Schrader, and it will be, but it's a familiar test. But after this, the quarterback battle really kind of changes a lot. Dracovic doesn't run. Devin Leary doesn't run. Sam Hartman doesn't run. If it looks like this and you beat Florida State, it really doesn't matter how it was. If you're 2-1 coming out of it, you're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, they steadied their season.
Yeah.
I mean, we went into it, it was you had to win. You knew the toxicity, the negativity that was going to be around if you go down there and lose, especially where it looked like, hey, this could be getting away from them. This is the exact same thing we're seeing this team's going to give out. Guys are getting injured. It's going to be a mess, but Scott Satterfield keeps it on the rails, and Friday night is just it's an unbelievably massive game, right? I mean, winning a couple nights ago, winning on Friday sets this up. Big atmosphere, national television. The fans, because of the win now, you're going to have that extra jolt.
So needless to say, you guys kind of take away a question from me, but biggest game under Scott Satterfield so far, Friday night, Florida State in the house?
I don't think there's any debating that it's the most important. You can chart a lot of paths to bowl eligibility and something that you can objectively call improvement at 2-1 with the rest of that schedule, ahead of them. And so far this year, I mean, Clemson's okay, and Louisville played them toe-to-toe, a year ago. Virginia looks lesser than they did.
I mean, they got blown out by Illinois,
you've got a bunch of tough games. Pitt looks good. Wake Forest looks a lot better with Sam Hartman. And I mean, it's a difficult schedule. If they get 7 wins, it'll mean something. They will have beaten somebody good if they get 7 wins, but they're not getting there I don't think if they win Friday.
No, they need to win. They need to win Friday. I mean, listen, Florida State, it's fine. It's about a pick 'em right now. We'll see where that goes over the next few days.
Right.
I mean, we've all been dogging what LSU's about. And so, I mean, they allow LSU to come back. They win in a very fluke way. And now I'm supposed to believe that Florida State is back. And that's not necessarily analysis about Friday. That's just big picture, because I don't think that. I think Jordan Travis, like Ennis said, is along the same lines of what you have seen. It is time to go home, get in front of your fans, and cement the good feelings. And, then we would be talking about how many can you win. You lose on Friday, we know what the conversation is. It's, can you make a bowl game? And then at the end of the year, do they want to know what they have with Scott Satterfield? Yep. That magical line of where you feel like there's progress to where the U of L, as Josh Hurd and company, are going to, re-up a contract here. Or not, or it's a guy that's not going to work here. And Friday night's one of those 50-50 games that goes towards that decision in a couple months.
This represents an opportunity that I don't think Scott has really been able to put in his resume here, and that is meeting a big-time moment and delivering with a big-time performance. This is a hyped game, kind of like you alluded to earlier. They've had some opportunities and didn't meet it. UCF, that kind of gets you there to win a clutch game on the road, but now everybody knows knows that you're coming to our house for a must-win conference game. It's time for this team to look well prepared from start to finish. And we'll be right back here breaking that one down, as well as Kentucky's next game. This does it for Mark Ennis, Andy Sweeney from ESPN Louisville. I'm Tyler Greever. Thanks for joining us.